Okay, early morning. I thought I'd do a quick video on what to eat before you run, because I feel I have this dialed in. It's a very simple thing to get right, but it's also a very simple thing to get wrong. And if you Google what to eat before a run, you're gonna get articles about anything and everything, and just like anything on the internet, you're gonna get the right advice and you're gonna get the wrong advice, and finding the right advice is actually pretty difficult. So you've got to ask yourself these things, first of all, like, what is your goal? So if you're training towards an ultra marathon or a marathon or something long, then you're gonna have sessions in the week that are longer sessions, whether that's a midweek interval session, weekend long run, that you want to get your stomach prepared to what you're gonna eat on race day. So that's the first point. Second point is timing is everything. When you eat before a run, it's almost as important, if not as important, as what you eat before you run. So planning is key. When am I gonna run? What am I gonna do? So what kind of session are you gonna do is the next question you need to ask yourself. And when are you running? So how long until you're running? So I've just woke up. My regular schedule is 4 or 5 times a week. I'm running easy. I'm in zone 1, bottom of zone 2. I'm just going really, really simple, and it's usually no more than 60 to 90 minutes. So I don't need anything. It's always fasted training. I've had that overnight sleep. My body's in a fasted state, and I'm about to prime my fat metabolism system. So I'm burning more fat than glycogen as a primary fuel source, which shreds my body fat, but also helps my body tap into that fat when I'm at a higher heart rate than a regular non-runner, if you like, or non-trained body. So really, really important for me to do fasted training 4 or 5 times a week. Most of my running is really easy and comfortable in zone 1 and zone 2. I'm just in that fasted state. But for those key sessions, midweek interval session where I'm going fast, I'm building my speed, and my weekend long run where I'm building my stamina, I'm building my endurance, it's really important for me to get my body as fueled optimally as possible for 2 main reasons. So that my body is in great shape and has plenty of energy throughout the session, and recovers as fast as possible, because your recovery begins before the session actually starts. If you're going to do a hard session, like when you go in the gym and you put your body through a hard weight session, you're breaking muscle fibers down. So what are you doing to rebuild those muscle fibers even before they've broke down? So it's a bit like preventative maintenance of the body. So all those microscopic tears, you can be fixing them before they've even begun to tear by fueling your body properly. So, and exactly the same at the weekend for that long run. So if you're doing a long run, if you're out there for 2.5, sometimes 3 hours and more, your body's going to get those microscopic tears. It's not a big deal, but that's the soreness that you're feeling, and that's your body going into a state where it's stressing itself, so that you can then gather that super compensation and go further and faster the next time. So it really is as simple as that. So in order for me to fuel that really well, because I'm doing so much fasted training, so I'm literally waking up for those easy days, I'm waking up, putting the coffee on, drinking water, and then doing hanging leg raises before an easy run. By the time the coffee's done, I'm hydrated, I'm drinking that coffee, so I'm alert, I'm ready, and I love coffee, and then I'm out the door. But I like that schedule, because usually when you're doing a race, it's a super early morning start, or it's an early morning, or it's a 9-10 o'clock start, but it's in the middle of the city and it's really difficult to get to because all the trains and buses and everybody's there, and there's 50,000 people in the city. All those crazy things are going on. So I like to have as much sleep as I possibly can. So if I'm putting fruit as my go-to meal before I run, that metabolizes much faster than, for instance, toast or porridge or something high in protein, eggs, for instance, something like that. So I'm having 5 bananas, blend it in water, and I have that about an hour before I start warming up, or before I start running if I'm doing a marathon or more. If you're doing a marathon or more, you need to work back from the race. So realistically, if it's a London marathon, or if it's Boston marathon or big city marathon, how long are you going to warm up, and then what are you going to do? Are you going to stand there in the cold for 30 minutes and stand in a queue ready to start? If you're doing anywhere kind of 3 hours or more, then you're going to be like way back, right? So you're not really able to warm up and then just stand there. There's no real point in that. So you can be eating right up until, very important call, but I'll stay on this for this. So so you for me, like 5 bananas blended in water, very easy to drink, metabolizes really quickly. Think about surface area and how that goes into your system, and your body's got to get used to not only metabolizing that, but also transferring it and changing it into energy so that you can use that, get that as oxygen to the muscles so the muscles can perform as best as possible. Some people, if you're doing those key sessions, I would always suggest run first thing in the morning, but if you don't have the time in the morning and you have to do it later on in the day, porridge is a good go-to for me. So have 50 to 100 grams of dry weight porridge in water, not in milk, and then work back 2.5, 3 hours. But take a note, analyze this. So not just Strava, not just kind of Garmin Connect, whatever you're hooked up to, but also how did you feel? What did you eat before? What's working for you? What's not working for you? When did you have it? And portion size, how much did you have it? Don't get to race day and think, oh, it's race day, it's a big day, I'm gonna run fast in this marathon, so therefore I need huge amounts of porridge. No, it's not gonna work that way. Stick to what you're used to, because at that point when you're freshening up and your legs are getting fresh just before a big run, just before a big race, you're gonna have that taper. So all the food that you're putting into yourself is going to have a bigger effect because you're not doing the volume of training at that point. So you're able to go. Hope that helps.